The cry is thin, impossibly fragile against the vastness of the Pliocene savanna. It pierces the drowsy afternoon air, a sound of new life in a world that is ancient and indifferent. Beneath the thorny branches of a flat-topped acacia, the group huddles. They are a family of Australopithecus afarensis, and they have a new member. The mother, exhausted, licks the infant clean, her movements slow, instinctive. The coppery scent of birth hangs heavy, a rich and dangerous perfume. The old matriarch, her face a mask of deep carved lines, inspects the tiny grasping hands with a proprietary air. This is a victory. In this reality, the continuation of the line is the only victory that matters. For a moment there is a quiet communion, a circle of shared relief. This is the core of their world, the social bond that makes survival possible. The older children peer with curiosity while a young male, barely an adult, stands a little apart, his gaze sweeping the tall golden grasses that stretch to the horizon. This is prehistoric life, an existence balanced on a knife's edge. The wind shifts. It is a subtle thing, a slight cooling on the skin, a change in the whisper of the grass. But for these human ancestors, it is a momentous event. The scent once contained within their small circle of safety is now a banner unfurled across the landscape, an announcement carried for miles. The young male is the first to sense the change. He grows still, his head cocked, nostrils flaring. The birds in a distant thicket have gone silent. There is a new tension in the air, a predatory stillness that smothers the familiar hum of life. He makes a low sound in his throat, a soft hoot of alarm that is not quite fear but a sharp call to attention. The matriarch hears it. Her gaze lifts from the newborn and sweeps the same horizon, her dark, intelligent eyes missing nothing. The sun bleeds across the sky, painting the clouds in shades of bruised purple and orange. Twilight is the time of ghosts, and the ghosts are coming. They do not rush. They are masters of patience, creatures of shadow and whispered threat. At first it is only a feeling, the prickling on the back of the neck, that speaks of being watched. Then a flicker of movement in the deep grass, to know and fluid to be an antelope. Another. The matriarch gets to her feet, her knuckles brushing the dry earth. She lets out a sharp barking cry. The others instantly react, forming a tight protective crescent around the new mother, who pulls her infant so close it seems they might merge into one being. The first pair of eyes materializes in the gloom. They glow with a cold green fire. A low rumbling growl, like stones grinding together deep in the earth, vibrates through the ground. It is the voice of Dino Felis, the false saber to the hunter, whose intelligence is matched only by its persistence. And it is not alone. This is not a chance encounter. It is a siege. Life million years ago was about to demand its price for the miracle of birth. Night collapses onto the savannah, thickened, absolute. The moon is a shiver, offering no comfort. The world shrinks to the small patch of trampled earth beneath the acacia, a tiny island of warmth and terror in a sea of encroaching dark. The eyes are still, they're a constellation of malevolent green sparks circling just beyond the reach of a thrown stone. The growls continue, a deep resonant thrumming that seems to come from the ground itself, a language of patient hunger. The infant, sensing the mother's fear, begins to cry again. It is a sound that slices through the hominid's resolve, each wail a fresh invitation to the darkness. The matriarch makes a decision. Passivity is death. She rises to her full height, a magnificent and terrifying act of defiance. Her powerful bipedalness, the trait that defines these early humans, is not just for walking. It is a weapon of intimidation. The others follow her lead. The two largest males stand with her, grasping heavy branches they have broken from a deadfall nearby. They are not elegant weapons, but in their hands they are extensions of their will to survive. On the matriarch's signal, a sharp guttural cough, they begin to scream. It is a chaotic, desperate symphony of hoots, barks and shrieks, a wall of sound hurled into the night. They beat their branches against the hard-packed earth, raising dust, making themselves a spectacle of unpredictable fury. This is a crucial moment in hominid history, a desperate gambit based on a simple calculation to appear more dangerous than they truly are. For a moment the glowing eyes retreat, fading back into the grass. A small victor repurchased with precious energy. The first night is an eternity. They doze in shifts, a concept born of foresight. Two will always remain awake, their senses straining against the darkness, while the others slump against each other, finding brief, shallow sleep. This is the essence of their social cohesion, a shared burden, an unspoken pact of mutual protection. One wakes nudging another to take his place. No sound is exchanged. It is a rhythm of survival learned over 1,000,000 years ago. A young female chews a tough root, softening it before passing the pulp to the exhausted new mother, an act of pure altruism that keeps strength in the group's most vital members. Around them, the sounds of the night predators are a constant reminder of their fragility. A scream in the distance, abruptly cut short, tells the story of some other creature's failed vigil. As the first hints of dawn dilute the blackness, a bold Dinofelis larger than the others makes a move. It is not a full charge, but a swift, cribbing rush, a fluid blur of muscle and spotted hide. It wants to test their line to see if the night has broken them. The response is instantaneous. The clan erupts. The males surge forward, screaming, brandishing their clubs. The young sentinel hurls a rock. It flies wide, but the intent is clear. The cat swerves at the last second, snarling in frustration, and melts back into the tall grass. The clan is shaken, their hearts hammering, but the line held. The sun rises on their second day of siege, revealing the predators in the full light. They lie in the grass watching, licking their paws. They are in no hurry. The clan is trapped. The puddle they rely on for water is nearly dry, and the scent of their desperation is now as strong as the scent of the newborn. The matriarch looks at her family, at their tired faces, their trembling hands. She knows their raw courage and their primitive technology of sticks and stones will not be enough. Endurance has a limit. The sun climbs, a merciless eye in a pale sky. Thirst is a fire in their throat. The last of the muddy water is gone. Resource depletion is no longer an abstract threat. It is a certainty that will kill them as surely as the cats. The matriarch looks at the faces around her. The defiance of the night has curdled into a brittle exhaustion. She knows this place cannot be held. In her mind, an image forms, a map of the land etched by a lifetime of wandering. It is a masterpiece of memory, a cognitive map of every tree, every rock, every water source for miles. There is a place, a shallow, fast-moving river 2 miles to the east. A desperate gamble. The journey will expose them, but the water could save them. It could wash away their scent, break the spell of this relentless hunt. She does not speak, for there are no words for this. Instead, she communicates with a look, a gesture, a low grunt that conveys urgency and direction. She points with her chin to the east. She touches the young mother's shoulder, a gesture of reassurance that is also a command. The plan is understood in the silent language of shared existence that is the core of their hominid history. They rise as one, a single organism of fear and resolve. They form a moving fortress. The 2 largest males take the front. The matriarch and another female guard the flanks. In the absolute center, shielded by their bodies, is the mother clutching her infant. They are a portrait of ancient humans on the move, a study in collective survival. The moment they step from under the acacia, the predators are on their feet. The breakout has begun. The Dinofelis do not charge wildly. They are intelligent pack hunters. They flow alongside the desperate group, flanking them, their growls a constant unnerving pressure. They dart in, testing the formation, forcing the hominids to expend precious energy, fending them off with their crude branches. Dust kicks up from their shuffling feet. The air is filled with screams of fear, of rage, of warning. This is a running battle, a test of nerve and coordination against speed and power. The matriarch is the anchor, her sharp barks directing the defense, her presence a focal point of their courage. To truly bear witness to their struggle, one must not just observe but join their circle. Tap the chronicle's heart and add your strength to their vigil. A young kid bolder than the rest breaks from the pack and lunges for the rear. The young male, the sentinel from the first night, spins to meet it. He doesn't have a club, only a fist-sized rock. He throws it with all his strength. It strikes the cat on the shoulder, not a disabling blow, but a shock of pain and surprise that turns the lunge aside. The formation does not break. My laughter agonizing while they push on. The sun beats down. The cries of the infant are weaker now. Finally, through the shimmering heat, they see it, a line of green in the glint of moving water. Hope is a physical shock, a jolt of adrenaline. They break into a stumbling run, a final ragged push for life. They crash into the shallows, the cold water a blessing on their hot, dusty skin. They wade deeper, the current pulling at their legs, washing away the scent of their fear and their blood. On the far bank, the dino fellas halt, snarling in frustration, their hunt broken by an element they will not challenge. The clan collapses on the opposite shore, gasping, wounded but alive. The infant quiet now nurses in the safety of its mother's arms. They have endured. Embers and echoes. This was more than survival, it was a turning point in the epic of human evolution. On that Pliocene shore, something profound was forged in the crucible of fear. The victory was not won with tooth or claw, but with a matriarch's memory, a group's disciplined cooperation, and the collective will to protect the future in the form of a single fragile infant. This is the moment the abstract idea of family becomes a fortress defended by the raw courage of community. The sticks and stones they carried were mere tools, but their true defining technology was social cohesion. The fields of anthropology and archaeology search for bones and ancient tools, but what they are truly seeking is the ghost of this bond, the echo of this desperate collaboration. They survived not because they were the strongest, but because they learned to be strong for each other. They cemented a blueprint for our species, a legacy of shared burden and collective foresight. And in doing so, they left us with a question that still haunts the deepest part of our DNA. Have we in our concrete valleys forgotten the feeling of the circle and what it truly costs to keep the eyes in the darkness at bay? The whispers of our shared dawn are not lost, merely quieted by the noise of ages. They wait for us in the silence between heartbeats. What secrets were buried when the great ice came?